everyone. So it's been a long time since I made my last video, and I decided to make a video before YouTube was banned in Russia because they want to do it. They want to block YouTube in Russia, and most likely they will do it. Anyway, we can use VPN, but basically, what happens in China will happen with us. Um, Really, China is very interesting, and it's fascinating. Like I would like to learn Chinese, but yeah, if I learn characters and stuff, and my eyesight will get even worse because it's very like subtle details, and, very meticulous studies of like Chinese characters, and it will just destroy my eyes, I think. I just realized how stupid Europeans are. They implement sanctions that hurt them much more than Russia. So I lost my respect a little bit for Europe. So I would like to like learn more about Asia, about China. China is fascinating. So I was asked to talk about war, like what is happening, um, and like I watched a bunch of videos and news from different countries, and so uh, I'll give my opinion. So first, what happened? So Putin declared about starting like what he called a special operation, like in the end of February. Yeah, so it's been like I don't know 2 weeks. It's been like 2 weeks since it all started. Of course, like a special operation is just a euphemism, and like it's a full-blown war, and yeah, I can sympathize with the suffering of Ukrainian people, and yeah, it's bad. It's bad. So according to Putin, the purpose of this special operation is the militarization and the Nazification of Ukraine, and I don't know. I don't buy into this denazification because I understand they try to move Russians emotionally to support them mm, because Russians had like a traumatic experience with World War II, with Germans, with Nazis, and of course they will react like, emotionally and support Putin, and yeah. But I personally believe that it's grossly exaggerated. But when I talk about demilitarization, um, yeah, I think it's true because uh, it's known that the U.S. has been funding Ukrainian military. They has been training them like for years, supplying weapons. It's known, and also recently it's been revealed that uh, they they found that they funded uh, they funded biolabs in Ukraine uh, that research biological weapons, and Victoria Newland confirmed it, and even though like any war, like like we know it's despicable and like, it's bad for it's bad, yeah. Uh, but there is a purpose. There's a purpose to it, and also Ukraine wanted to join NATO, and they wanted to like get nuclear weapons, and we all know that it's a disaster for Russia, and things they say like uh, a lot of times they insulted Russians. They say bad things about Russia and these fuckers. And I don't know. Like yeah, most people there are decent people in Ukraine, and I sympathize with them. But there are a lot of people who just well, maybe not a lot, but there are some people who like, say terrible things about Russians. Like all Russians are bad, and just it needs to be stopped. It's just just ridiculous. So as Russians, we have our security needs. We don't want to have missiles on our borders pointed at Russia. So these fuckers they violated our security needs, and while yeah, I sympathize with normal civilians, but what uh, what the government, what the Zelensky regime was doing and is doing, it's absolutely despicable. And so the their regime, so the government, they absolutely deserve it, in my opinion. And yeah, Zelensky is just a puppet, and he's funded by the West and uh, one like oligarch, Igor Kolomoisky, that lives in Switzerland. And yeah, the people who are behind the scenes, they don't care neither for Russia, they hate Russia, nor for Ukraine, for Ukrainian people. They just unscrupulous people who only hate, they only care about money, and that's it, and their power. So this won't benefit. Like this war, it won't benefit uh, Ukrainian people or Russian people. It will only benefit like some oligarchs. So all they want is either milk Ukraine for money and resources, or just destroy it. Uh, like if they can't benefit from Ukraine, they will just destroy it, and that's it. And it's very sad. Like we know that, like of course, Russia is winning because Russian military is more powerful. There's no doubt about it. But um, these like the regime, the Zelensky regime, they will order Ukrainian soldiers to fight to death, and it's very sad because they will die for no reason. Like, what's the point? If you're losing, what's the point to like keep fighting and just die? And it was clearly Western propaganda to make Ukrainians hate Russians, because like even if you don't like your neighbors, and Russians are not saints, yeah, uh, but like you still want to respect them, because otherwise it will be a disaster for you. Like Ukraine is a small country, and um, Russia is a very powerful country, and if Ukrainian people don't respect Russia, then it will be a disaster for them. Even if you don't like Russia, you still need to be respectful. At least pretend to be respectful, so that um, they think that so that Russians think that you don't hate Russia, and yeah. But if you're like overtly just saying bad things about Russia, like you'll have to face the music. And it's definitely a stupid move to quarrel with Russia and to become allies with the United States that are far away on another continent, and they don't care about Ukraine. Like they only want money. That's clear. And when it's no longer profitable to help Ukraine, and yeah, they will abandon Ukraine. That's what is happening, and yeah, there's a chance they will intervene with this war, and it will be a disaster. Like if the U.S. Um, gets involved, if the U.S. If the U.S. sends their troops to Ukraine, it will be a disaster uh, for Ukraine. Of course, Ukraine will be absolutely destroyed and leveled, and it's a disaster for the U.S. Yeah, because if the U.S. Starts a war with Russia, just it will be disaster, and it will be a disaster for Russia and for the whole world. So what will happen? Like China will become a superpower and will dominate all the world because this war it will weaken both Russia and the United States. And in the worst case scenario, it will escalate. This conflict will escalate to a nuclear war, and but at the least it will destroy American economy because like American economy is very fragile. And then they have a huge debt, and now they risk to um, there's a risk that the dollar loses its status as a reserve currency, and it will be a disaster. It will be a disaster for the United States. Yeah, and most likely the West will not intervene and just let Ukraine lose the war, and it's still it's a better scenario for the Ukrainian people than if the West intervenes, because if the West intervenes, then mm, Ukraine will be leveled and destroyed. This is this is a fact. Look at Iraq. Yeah. So and in case if Ukraine is destroyed, then um, the West will abandon Ukraine because they don't want to spend so much money to uh, repair this country. Like why would they want to spend so much money to do it? Like no way. And you see, Russians they're trying to conquer Ukraine intact. Like they didn't destroy communications and stuff. Like they still have uh, they have electricity, they have water, they even have the internet in Ukraine. So um, Russians didn't destroy civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. So really, the best case scenario for Ukraine is just accede to Russian demands and yeah, and surrender. It's the best case scenario. Less people will die if they do it. And yes, Russia might install um, Russia-friendly regime into the Ukraine, and maybe it's not great for Ukraine, yes, but it's still better than a bloodshed. And they could just remain a neutral country and have a good life, but they crossed the line and now they face the consequences. And knowing the Zelensky regime, it's most likely that they will order Ukrainian soldiers to fight to death, and it's very bad. It's very sad. Like, okay, enough rambling for me. So it's time. It's time to go. So I'm signing off. Bye bye.